Do you need more Metal Gear Solid in your life? Look no further than WinBack, Covert Operations for the Nintendo 64. And yes, WinBack is available on the Switch's N64 emulator for those of you without an N64. WinBack, Covert Operations, first released in 1999 for the Nintendo 64, 1 year after Metal Gear Solid. It's often referred to as the Metal Gear Solid of the N64, but why is that? And is that justified? Let's take a closer look at a game that quietly revolutionized gaming and even influenced mechanics in Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. First things first, what was WinBack even about? Similar to Metal Gear Solid, there's a terrorist group threatening the United States with a weapon that can strike any place in the world. In MGS, we see this in the form of Foxhound threatening to use Metal Gear Rex and fire a nuclear strike if their demands of $1 billion, a cure for the Foxdie vaccine, and Big Boss's body being handed over weren't met. In WinBack, the Crying Lions demand that the US pull out of Sarkozia, their home country, for the US to publicly confess their crimes and make an apology renouncing their invasion, and lastly, to swear they'll never interfere with Sarkozia again. To put weight behind their demands, the Crying Lions take command over the Gulf system, a satellite in orbit capable of targeting anywhere on Earth, and use it to destroy the space station with its deadly laser. The US decides to mobilize SCAT, gross, I know, it stands for Special Covert Action Team, in response to take the Crying Lions out. You play as Jean-Luc, a serious and capable operative. On your team includes a man named Jake, who clearly borrowed Snavid's bandana and sarcastic attitude.
I can't believe they made such a crazy weapon in the first place. Then to have it stolen by a bunch of terrorists, what a joke!
Shut up, Jake, and let me finish.
Love you, Jake. Unfortunately, the infiltration hits a snag from the very beginning, and you're separated from the rest of your team, though you do meet up with them from time to time as you make your way through WinBack. WinBack starts off with a bang, with a politically charged storyline, which feels similar to MGS. In WinBack, the US's decision to invade Sarkozia and provoking the Crying Lions into biting back as an excuse to take them out makes me think about MGS3. Khrushchev and the current president of the United States had to work together behind the scenes to stop Bulgin and his crew after one of the US's nukes is fired at a Soviet research facility. Naked Snake is sent in to clean things up for the US in MGS3, whereas Jean-Luc and the rest of SCAT is sent in to clean up the Crying Lions in WinBack. Both games are critical of US foreign policy and have a colorful cast of flamboyant villains and competent heroes who are put into a situation where it can be difficult to tell who is the real victim in the situation. Unlike in MGS though, WinBack focuses more on a tight gameplay than on a layered storyline. WinBack's focus on gameplay would revolutionize gaming. According to WinBack's director, Tomoyuki Takazumi, WinBack was actually inspired by the N64 controller, which really captures my heart since the N64 controller is my favorite controller of all time. Specifically, the shape of the controller inspired WinBack. Takazumi explains, "One of our staff used to make shooting games for arcade video games. He came to us with the idea of making an action game from the third-person viewpoint that utilized the N64's rather special controller, 3D stick, Z-trigger, etc. The gameplay was designed so that the left hand handled movement, moving the character in WinBack's 3D space and crouching/taking cover, and the right hand handled action, shooting. This design allowed players to elicit a variety of actions with just 4 fingers. I've seen people talking about the controls online where one person commented that the controls may seem complicated at first, but once you get the hang of them, Jean-Luc looks like an action hero, and I couldn't agree more. The controls aren't any more complicated than the controls of MGS, and once you're used to them, WinBack plays as smooth as butter. I first played WinBack on the Switch's N64 emulator, and even playing WinBack with a controller it wasn't designed for, it felt so intuitive and responsive. WinBack's attention to gameplay and controls really pays off. WinBack wasn't only innovative when it came to utilizing the N64's controller, it was also the first third-person shooter to use sticky cover and laser sights. You'll spend a lot of WinBack behind cover, then turning out to get a few shots in on your enemies before slipping back behind cover. The cover system is so satisfying to use too. Getting hits in on your enemies while they can't get a shot in on you is deviously fun. WinBack's sticky cover directly inspired Metal Gear Solid 2. Before, in MGS1, you could press up against walls, but you couldn't duck around them to take pot shots as your enemies like Jean-Luc can. In MGS2, however, you can. As a nod to the inspiration MGS2 took from WinBack, you can find Jean-Luc's dog tag in the original release of Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. They removed Jean-Luc's dog tag in the future iterations of MGS2 like Substance. How rude. I've read around on the internet that WinBack's laser sight inspired the laser sights in the original Resident Evil 4, but I haven't found any interviews or anything to confirm that. Contrary to popular belief, WinBack wasn't actually influenced by Metal Gear Solid at all, meaning WinBack and Metal Gear Solid is a case of great minds think alike. In an interview, Takazumi confirms that MGS wasn't even heard of when WinBack was in production, and that when MGS debuted on the PlayStation, neither he nor any of his team referenced MGS. Takazumi would prefer we view WinBack as its own thing, and WinBack definitely stands up as its own thing. Other than a few coincidental lookalikes, all of the characters, both from Scat and Crying Lions, are unique and full of personality. Each boss has their own motivations and techniques for fighting you, and each Scat team member is fun to bump into. Each interaction, friend or foe, is fun and exciting. WinBack keeps the pace fast and energetic. The music is amazing and used in unique ways. The music picks up the pace when you get injured, so the lower your health is, the more intense things seem. My biggest complaint is when you're at full health, you don't get to listen to the rad upbeat music. It made me want to run around constantly half injured. WinBack is a game that focuses on infiltration, so you can scratch that MGS itch. Lastly, did you know WinBack has multiple endings? Depending on how well you do, you can get a bad, neutral, or good ending. I got the bad ending on my playthrough like a scrub, but getting the bad ending also means you get to fight Cecil at the end, my favorite boss in WinBack, so in my heart, I got the best ending. WinBack also has a multiplayer mode. The multiple endings and multiplayer mode gives WinBack tons of replay value. If you're as starved for more Metal Gear Solid as I am, I highly recommend giving WinBack Covert Operations a shot. It may not have been inspired by MGS, but it went on to inspire MGS, and that's the next best thing. WinBack's contributions to gaming in general, with its innovative sticky cover and laser sights, make it worth the playthrough too. Plus, the characters are fun and unique, and the music is banging. So give WinBack a play and let me know what you thought about it. Tell me in the comments below which ending you get. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and join us in Discord. We're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.